But moving on to the bench for the Eastern Conference, we have our first guard. And as you alluded to before, with James Harden taking up a spot in the Eastern Conference, now the Brooklyn Nets have three All-Star players on the roster. For our first guard spot, we have Kyrie Irving averaging 20.3 points a game, 5.7 assists, shooting 53.4% from the field, 44.2% from three. Absolutely crazy. And of course, is a standard 90+% from the free throw line. And again, for the second seeded Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving has been a target of criticism also from us. We have criticized him also. For some of the stuff that he's done throughout the season. It's that line with Kyrie Irving. Sometimes he does some stuff that are questionable, but we've never, questioned his genuineness and his intent to be a good guy. Everyone knows that he's a great guy. There's a reason why he's, a vice president in the NBPA. There's a reason why everyone in the league, for the most part, loves him. He's a great guy. It's just he does some questionable things from time to time, but his on-court production, he is one of the greatest talents we have ever seen. He's, in my opinion, the greatest ball handler of all time, and he is one of the greatest finishers of all time too, especially from the guard spot. I think he has the greatest layup package of all time in terms of, if you look at his highlights, the crazy finishes that he has. I haven't seen anybody make better layups than he does. And again, people have talked about it. He is one of the greatest. He's one of the most skilled players of all time in terms of only being, was he 6'2", 6'3", but the amount of skill that he does, ball handling, his shooting, his post game, it's insane what he can do with the ball. And so, him leading the Brooklyn Nets as one of their top two scorers in the Eastern Conference definitely makes him a lock for the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think a lot of our criticism of Kyrie has been mainly off the court issues where, he's just been distant or hasn't been on the team or has said something that's very asinine, or his criticism of the media, there's a lot of things about Kyrie Irving that really, at least for me, put me in a negative perspective. But there's no denying his on court product is amazing. Again, you said it. He's arguably the greatest ball handler of all time. I'd put him right up there with Allen Iverson. Now I don't know which one I would prefer. I think the old head in me is gonna probably take AI, but Kyrie's.
Well, AI himself said Kyrie's better.
Hey man, I'll still say this: Kyrie is still amazing what he can do with the ball, and yeah, again, I think one other thing is that now that he's in a situation, now that he's gotten more time to play with James Harden, he no longer has to worry about the playmaking responsibilities, which, to be honest, was never really Kyrie's game. He can just focus on what he does best, which is score the basketball and be a great option for his team night in and night out. So no surprise that Kyrie Irving is an All-Star. Now, does it still bother me that Brooklyn gets 3 All-Stars? Yes, it does. But it was very difficult for us to leave Kyrie Irving off this list.
Yeah. So that was our first guard spot for the bench. Our next guard spot for the bench is Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics, who are currently kind of underperforming, but they still are the fourth seed at a 14-13 record. But Jaylen Brown has been absolutely amazing. To be honest, he's averaging 26 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, shooting 51.3% from the field, 40.9% from three. One of the biggest things, right? He's taken that next step in his development. He's been good from three, since the beginning of his career, but now he is a legit shooter from three. And he's now averaging 26 points a game. We saw the potential that he had, especially last season when I think he started to really break out. And we saw the potential that he could have as a 1-2 punch next to Jason Tatum. And now you're really seeing it. He definitely deserves that contract. I think we'll go back, a couple of years ago when we had some criticism of that contract. We definitely took an L on that because now he definitely deserves a max contract. And he's still very young, man. He like the fact that he's only gonna get better from here on out, and he hasn't even hit his prime yet is what's insane, right? Him and Jason Tatum. The fact that they're still so young, and already producing at the rate that they are now. Is Boston? I think Boston is missing maybe one big piece for their team in terms of their championship aspirations. But Jaylen Brown himself, as an individual, has taken that next step forward. And Boston, I think, with those two and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, can only go higher up from here on out.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we all knew Jaylen Brown was a great player. Solid, great amazing defender. Can shoot the three, like quintessential 3-and-D guy that a lot of teams would want. But I think the biggest thing with Jaylen Brown has just been his offensive improvement, man. Where you can just see the 3-point shots gotten even better this season. The ability to score off the dribble is better. His dribble penetration has been far better than it has been in his career. His mid-range game has been something that he's definitely been working on. And he's just a more confident all-round player, and he's still giving you that amazing defense on that side of the ball. So we've spoken about Jaylen Brown a lot, but the numbers speak for itself. The fact that his team is winning consistently, and as a Raptor fan, that pains me to say because Boston has been a thorn in our side this season. But there's no denying he's a fantastic player, and we think he definitely deserves his first All-Star selection this season. So yeah, Jaylen Brown definitely should be an All-Star.
Again, a 7-point increase from 2019 to 2020, and then a 6-point increase this season. So he's been absolutely amazing. Constant improvement for sure.